Yeah, so this is just a quick disclaimer that I'm adding after I've already recorded the rest of the video. Um, Although this video is much shorter, I put a lot more effort into it than I have with most of the other ones. There was a lot of researching involved. It's very different from most of the other ones, and it won't be everyone's cup of tea, but I hope you enjoy it. And yeah. What the fuck is up? It's your boy Bean King, and today you're gonna fucking learn some shit. This is a German man by the name of Friedrich Nietzsche. Uh, uh, Friedrich Nietzsche, otherwise known as Mustache Man, was a German philosopher who died in the year 1900 on August 25th, which, by random coincidence, was not the day he was born. Some of his most famous quotes would be "goo goo, ga ga," which was said in his earlier years, as well as "to live is to suffer, to survive is to find some meaning in the suffering. He who has a way to live can bear almost any how, and when you stare into the abyss stares back at you." Friedrich Nietzsche's most famous quote would be "God is dead and we have killed him." This is commonly misconstrued as a literal statement, but what Nietzsche actually means here is that the entire concept of God no longer has purpose. See, he made this statement in a new sort of Western Europe where science had evolved to a point where he believed that through philosophy and science and the arts, music, theatre, culture, there was no longer a need for God as a source of enlightenment. Now, obviously, given his belief that God no longer had a place in the modern world, Nietzsche was not Christian, and in fact he hated Christianity. He thought that it made everyone too comfortable in accepting what they already had and not wanting more. Nietzsche felt that envy was a very core part of life and that everyone feels it, and that in order to become the best possible version of yourself, it should be something that we should own up to. The Catholic Church sees envy as something evil, something that we should hide, and something that we definitely shouldn't feel, something sinful. See, envy is a tool. It's not something to be ashamed of. Envy is a mere guide to learning what we want in life. See, if you were envious of someone such as Bill Gates for his wealth, then that's a guide of what you want in life. It's a way of showing yourself what you want to achieve and what you want to amount to. Another thing Nietzsche believed was necessary in order to become the best possible version of yourself was, don't be a Christian. Nietzsche famously wrote that there is only one single good person in the entire New Testament: Pontius Pilate, the Roman emperor who ordered for Jesus' execution. Nietzsche resented Christianity because it protected people from envy. Nietzsche believed Christianity emerged in Rome in the minds of slaves that couldn't achieve their true goals, so they held on to a philosophy that allowed cowardice to be celebrated. He refers to Christians as the herd, mindless followers with no ability to think for themselves. He believed Christians really desperately wanted to enjoy the true joys of the world, such as power, sex, and creative freedom, but they lacked the spine to get it for themselves. So they wrote a creed that denounced their desires that they were too weak to fight for and praised what they had but didn't want. He believed they did this simply by making negatives sound like positives. Abstinence or celibacy turned to purity, submission turned to obedience, and the inability to seek vengeance turned to forgiveness. In Nietzsche's eyes, saying you were a Christian was just a fancy way of saying you were in denial. The final step for becoming one's best self was to never drink alcohol. Nietzsche believed the two greatest plagues on Europe were Christianity and alcohol, and he denounced them for the same reasons. Both numb pain and prevent you from being able to improve yourself as a person. Following these three beliefs of owning up to your envy, not being a Christian, and abstaining from consuming alcohol would make you what Nietzsche would call an Übermensch, or, as directly translated, a Superman, and therefore the greatest form of yourself that you can possibly be. So, Nietzsche was a nihilist, which basically means he believed that there was no structure or objective in life other than what we as people give it. Um, it's often associated with this whole idea of nothing matters kind of philosophy, and that's not what it is. Simply put, it's definitely a out there sort of concept, especially in the modern world. Um, but a lot of people are sort of subscribers to this philosophy without even realizing. So if you are someone who believes that um, purpose and meaning comes from how you personally feel about something, you may just be a nihilist and you don't even know it. Yeah, so I think that's going to be it for this video. It was very different from what I'm used to. It's a bit shorter and it did take quite a bit longer, but I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. I did crack a few jokes at the start. I kind of forgot to in the middle. I'm sorry, I'm just not very funny. um, but yeah, I hope you learned something. And yeah, have a good day.